The US women's national team have been in headlines everywhere as of recent as they are staking their claim to be paid equally to the men's national team. So a quote we'll throw to you straight away here from the New York Times gives it a little bit more context. So this is taken from the New York Times article on this issue. Citing this disparity as well as rising revenue numbers, 5 players on the women's team filed a federal complaint Wednesday accusing US Soccer of wage discrimination because they said they earned as little as 40% of what players on the United States men's national team earned, even as they marched to the team's 3rd World Cup championship last year. The 5 players, some of the world's most prominent women's athletes, said they were being shortchanged and on everything from bonuses to appearance fees to per diems. So we'll get to the actual graphics in a little bit that showcase the disparity, right? It showcases the clear difference between the wages between the national team, right? So to give context really quick before people go crazy in the comments, well, the sport's not as popular. The woman is based on how popular sport is, the revenue, which is true. I understand. If this is a club discussion and the women's Portland Timbers team are complaining they don't get paid the same as the men's Portland Timbers team, then it has to be based on your ticket prices, your sponsorships, your revenue, your TV deals. But the US women's national team are the best national team for their sport. They obtain a huge amount of revenue for US soccer as a whole. So that's where their case has more weight, because this isn't comparison between women's NBA and men's NBA. This isn't a comparison between different clubs. This is a comparison between 2 national teams who you can put side by side. One of them dominates in everything they do. They're a great advocate for the sport. The other one is average, if not below average, but they're getting paid more so. So that's where, and they put numbers up there. They showed, I think it was like 60 plus million for the recent World Cup run in revenue. They have a case, Jason.
Right. No, it's not that they have a case. They're actually completely in the right. And the comparison, I mean, look, there's been 2 stories actually similar to, one story similar to this United States women's national team. And that was the Novak Djokovic coming out with the tennis allegations about that woman, you know, and how that they're paid, and Wimbledon, all of the big tennis events comparing the men's to the women's. And where I agree with you 110% in terms of like the governing body of these organizations get X amount of dollars. When X amount of dollars come in, then there should be a percentage. Equal pay does not necessarily mean that if I am a female and you are a male and we both work on TYT, we both work for TYT, right? But your channel brings in hundreds of thousands of dollars more than my channel. Equal pay could mean a percentage of that. Yeah. Not that he gets $10 an hour and I get $8 an hour. Yeah. Just means that percentage-wise of what you are bringing in personally, it could be vice versa. Me, the female with my beautiful looks, thank you, brings in more money than Francis's channel in this aspect. If it's a percentage, then it's equal. Yeah. The example, I don't know why I use 40%, just seems like the number to go to. But if US Soccer, which is one, brings in X amount of dollars as a whole, then whatever percentage the men get for their appearances, their exhibitions, their bonuses, their allowances, which is salaries, then the women should get an equal percentage. Yeah. It's not like US Soccer is different from men's and women's. It's the same, I'm making a triangle. Look, we're getting to the Illuminati at this point. A triangle here. Yeah. So to the graphics.
Yeah, let's take a look.
The New York Times did a fantastic job with this. So just in terms of allowance for traveling, it's not a huge difference, but it's still a difference. Yeah. The per diem for traveling for women, the domestic venues is $50 and the men's $62.50. And international, $60 for the women and $75 for the men. We'll continue. There's 2 more. World Cup bonuses. This is where it gets a huge discrepancy. The women get $75,000 for winning first place in the World Cup. The men haven't even touched first place in my existence, and I don't think they ever will. And they're getting 6.5? Am I doing the math right there? Yeah. 5 times the amount of money?
Okay, so the only case with that is, right?
Yeah, 4.5 times the amount of money.
So the only thing with the World Cup is, again, the share of wealth is going to be distributed based on how much revenue they bring in from television, from everything else. But it's a percentage.
Bring in a lot of money.
I know. The women bring in a ton of money, and the numbers speak for themselves. They are the best in the world, have 3 World Cup championships, 4 Olympic championships, but the men's get paid more just to show up than they get paid to win major competitions.
I think we have that one too. There should be one more, I think, in terms of just exhibitions. Yeah, here you go. Per game. Per game is not that different, and actually, it should be swapped. The women should get $5,000, the men should get $3,600. But the bonuses to win is insane. So the incentive, look, everyone's got their price. By the way, the yearly pay for 20 games, lose all of them. That's usually a men's thing. Still 6 figures. And then win all of them. The women don't even touch 6 figures, and the women win more regularly than the men. They're a better product for the U.S. soccer than the men are at this point.
Yeah.
But look, the discrepancy in bonuses, to me, that's the biggest thing, is the incentive difference.
Yeah.
Obviously, the number one incentive to play a sport professionally is to win championships and to play a part of a team. But if we're going to be realistic in this sense, another incentive for almost all athletes, and I'm not going to say everybody, but I'm going to say most, is the bonuses you get when you win. This is it drilled into so many contracts. I know for a fact in American sports, I don't know in international sports. But at least in America, in the NBA and the NFL, if you win an MVP, you get a bonus. If you make an All-NBA first team, you get a bonus. If you make the NBA Finals, you get a bonus. Little things that say, look, it's not like they were just going to give you your paycheck every 2 weeks. You start winning. You are part of this team, and you start winning for this team, and you lead us, and you can be a brand ambassador for X team here, Golden State Warriors, New York Giants, New York Mets, then you get more money.
Yeah.
And that's a great incentive
to win,
from the team to win.
And that's where their case is, right? Is that they made the case, obviously, recently that they exceeded revenue projections as much as $16 million in 2015 when their World Cup triumph. They set viewership records for their World Cup, the women's team. But what is the US soccer officials, they disputed those figures. And do you know why? Because they said that the lawyer cherry-picked a successful year. That's what it means for relevance, you idiot. If you are doing well recently, like, do you think Manchester United players are going to get the same bonuses now because they won the competition 10 years ago? No, it's based on how you're performing regularly. So they deserve the same amount of percentage that they should get for what the men's get as well, because they're winning. They're winning at the moment. Percentages are based, and incentives, as Jason mentioned, and bonuses are based on how you perform. So if you win the fucking World Cup, of course they're going to choose that because it's recent. It happened last year. There's no other competitions to base it off of. The arguments that they're trying to make back concerning whether or not this is going to be always the case, that doesn't matter, because you have to take it year by year. You have to take it what is happening at the moment. And at the moment, the US women's team are not receiving equal pay in terms of their bonuses they're getting for winning games when they win the majority of their games. Maybe that's the reason why. We don't want to be paid. We realize that the US men's team don't win every game, so maybe we can save a few change in there, and then we pay them more so when they win. But the US women's team win a lot of their fucking games. So you know what we can do to save money? We just don't give them that much. Leave your comments in the section below. Let us know what you think, because as we mentioned before, let's look at this as a sole case for the national team. This is, if it's Brazil's national team versus a Brazil women's team, no. Come on, the Brazil women's team aren't in comparison to the Brazil's men's team in terms of the revenue they bring in that country where the game is engraved into the sport as a national team for the men's side. It's understandable that it's based on the money you draw in, but the clear facts are there. Look them up, give a fully kind of objective point of view on it, and then let us know what you think in the comment section below. At JasonRubin91 on Twitter, at Francis_Maxwell, and come back again to TYT Sports.